Hello, everyone. With me, I have Cyns Corner, my friend Matt Air.
Hello?
Today, we're reviewing
Say something!
Halloween 2018 and Kills. Kills, the latest in this trilogy, and I've got a lot to talk about. I know Cyns Corner has already rambled on her live stream.
Yes, 2.5 hour live stream.
You just had to let it all out.
Oh, I did.
Let yourself
I did.
free with how you feel.
I had a lot of words.
And I still have yet to see it. Should probably check it out. But anyway, so yeah, this was a trilogy that started off where they retcon the original Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, Halloween Resurrection, which I know everybody
6.
loved.
Also 6.
Okay, yeah, 6.
Yeah. And yeah, Resurrection.
And
Sure.
so far, it started off pretty well. Kill comes out. Like I said, there's a lot to say, and I'm sure Cyns Corner is going to have a lot more to say. And she'll probably take up most of this conversation we'll have.
I'll try not to, but it's hard to help myself. I love this franchise, and it's disappointing to see what happened with Kills.
But let's get to the plot.
I believe there's a lot to learn from the horrors you experienced.
There's nothing to learn. There are no new insights.
So, Halloween 2018, it's set obviously 40 years after the original 1978. Laurie, you could say she's having a little bit of some mental issues since that
PTSD
Yeah.
and alcoholism.
Yeah. Her daughter left her because of how she was, and she also has a daughter, which I guess she's going to college and all that, but
Yeah.
Laurie kind of saying
getting
"Don't waste
ready
your
to.
time." Yeah, but
Yeah.
Laurie's like, don't waste your
Yeah.
time with all-"
Don't waste
But,
your time on it.
But she's still, Laurie still is suffering, and she's kind of also preparing for the day where she could face Michael Myers, because that her PTSD. Michael Myers is in a mental institution, and
They're going to transfer him.
Yeah, they're going to transfer him. And one specific night, he is able to break out, and some of the mental people are also wandering around. He takes a car. On top of that, there were people that tried to talk to him, and they also interviewed Laurie. They end up at the specific place where he ends up killing someone at a gas station. He kills those two. He gets the mask. We got another nightmare on Halloween.
Yep.
40 years later.
The
And
night he came home.
But this is the second time he came home.
Yeah, right.
Again.
Yep.
So he goes off on this odd killing spree, and Laurie is ready. And well, basically, her granddaughter gets involved in this bad night, and he's just
Her daughter too.
Yeah, and even her daughter. It goes to this whole climactic showdown near the end. Then you have Kills, which continues in the same night. Look at it as Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. Continues
felt
from
like
that
that.
night.
Picks up
And
exactly where it left off.
yeah,
Pretty much.
Where-
Except with the flashback sequence it started off with, but still.
thing is,
Story.
if you know that there's a sequel to this, Michael Myers is still on this sort of rampage of killing people whenever he sees them or whenever someone's around an area. And then the mob just starts to, well, you could say they're out to kill him, but on top of that, they are going a little too crazy, overreacting, paranoia sort of deal. And even then, the conclusion also, I would say, would leave you kind of questioning how that all played out. So, to me, I like Halloween 2018. I thought that was a really good film, how it was all done. It was done well.
Oh yeah.
Kills comes out. It has issues. So do any of you want to? I know. See that face right there was already a sign. Well, who wants to go first with? I guess for 2018, and then Kills.
Well, I don't want to dominate the conversation, especially in the beginning. So let's hear what Matt has to say.
I like them. I look at them as more of a single film. They're kind of putty together.
Mm-hmm.
Both 2018 and Kills, because they happened on the same night. So you have to have one with the other one. I did like the 2018 one.
2018,
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But the Doctor was a little off in that one. The Dr. Loomis replacement.
You didn't like that whole aspect?
It wasn't that. It was the whole thing with the mask and him trying to. It really didn't build up to that. It was just they stop the car. He starts rambling. Michael's in the car. If I'm remembering that correctly, that could have used a little more.
No, Michael. Well,
wasn't.
Okay, he wasn't. So there were little hints dropped by Sartain along the way, which you notice as you watch it again and again. You're like, oh, this means something else, you know. So
right.
I can see why in a lot of ways what he did felt like it was coming out of the blue. But, you know, in retrospect, you can sort of pick up on that. So what happened is they were looking, the Sheriff Hawkins and Dr. Sartain and Allison,
now.
they were in the car and Sheriff Hawkins was like, I'm going to mow him down. So he hit Michael and then Sartain gets out and he pretended Michael was dead. And then he stabbed Hawkins in the neck with like a scalpel.
Right.
Yeah. And then he put on the mask because he wanted to know what it felt like. I mean, the guy was crazy for sure, but he wanted to see he was trying so hard to understand Michael's perspective that he just went completely off the deep end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then you put two and two together and you realize, well, he's actually the one that helped break Michael out of the bus. Michael didn't escape on his own. Sartain did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the main issue you had with 2018?
Well, like I said, like I like 2018, right? But I can't look at 2018 without looking at the new film. And the new film I had a little more issues with the whole it was over pushing the mob mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It was over pushing, what was it, Evil Must Die Tonight? And
oh my gosh. I got so tired of
chanting.
I got so Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. Yeah. I got tired of that.
Maybe they could have done it a little better to kind of. Do you guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it wasn't executed very well. Like maybe the idea was good, but the way they did it just felt very clunky. I mean, it. You know, when Sheriff Brackett did the Evil Dies Tonight, and then some other girl in the crowd was doing, it just looked clownish and silly. I couldn't buy it.
Someone should have had a torch. I mean, they had a pitchfork, but someone should have had torches.
The pitchfork was at the Myers house.
It's kind of the same with the Jack the Ripper TV show with Michael Caine. They kind of did that thing with the torches, looking for Jack the Ripper sort of deal. You know, that mob mentality.
I mean, I get the mob. I get the panic. I don't know. I get where they were going with it.
They could have done it differently. And then the weird, were they just randomly stopping the cars, asking if people could come and join them? Because they did have that one scene.
Oh,
they were trying to get people together to go hunt him down.
But we only see it once. We don't see it spread. It's like everyone just kind of went to the hospital.
I think you're supposed to sort of intuit that that's what they were doing. They spent time going around gathering people, and then that's what happened.
Right, but wouldn't it have been better to see that instead of just going right to the hospital? You know, kind of build it up, make the movie a little longer.
Maybe they felt like the one scene showing him doing that was enough for you to. I have no idea. I don't know how much they edited.
It would have showed more of them going around in the streets with flashlights and guns,
or searching for him physically in the streets. Yeah, like why did they decide to go to the hospital? Because it was only Karen. Yeah, right. But it was only Karen who seemed to have this idea that Michael was going to come for her mom at the hospital. So Tommy and all the others, they're just like, let's get some people together. And so then it's also possible that maybe a lot of the people at the hospital weren't just the mob. Maybe they were just people that were there. Maybe they were connected to the people that Michael had already killed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he killed a lot of people.
Right. Well, all I'm saying about that is if they would have shown a little more and kind of like the family's grieving, like it would have built a little better.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I agree for sure. I just it did feel like there was a lot that was kind of rushed and compacted, especially like you said, that mob scene. But some people hated the whole concept of the mob scene. That the whole concept of it didn't really bother me. It's how they carried it out that I had an issue with it. Yeah. So
yeah, I want to dive into the new characters for a bit. There's Laurie's granddaughter. How would you say her character is? I mean, she kind of seemed like someone that ends up becoming
like Laurie.
Yeah, like Laurie at the end.
A lot of people are speculating she's going to be the final girl in the next movie.
Yeah.
Laurie's going to die. She'll be the final girl. The torch will be passed to her, which I hope there's no torch to pass because I hope Michael gets killed. But I don't. The character of the granddaughter, I liked her the first time I saw it. Then the second time I saw it, I'm like, eh. And then I watched it again, of course, today with you guys on the big screen. I'm like, yeah, she's actually not bad. I don't mind her character. I thought she did 2018 was her first movie.
Yeah, her first big screen. I thought she did well.
I thought she did a good job.
Yeah.
And I thought she did a good job in this one too. I felt like not all. Like some of the interactions, like I'm going to go help catch Michael Myers. Some of those felt a little rushed and clunky as well. But I did especially like her acting when she was confronting Michael Myers at the end. She falls, she hurts her leg, she screamed. Very believable, her absolute desperation. I thought that was pretty well done.
Even in 2018, just her acting was pretty good in that one too. I remember the whole issue with her boyfriend, just like being a douche. And her reaction to it was really good. Like when he put the phone in that little
he threw it in like the Jello
she had that look
something.
like she couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that. I can see
and
that.
He was. I appreciated his character in this movie quite a bit because he seemed to evolve a little bit. He was douchey. He was a little but he wasn't a completely awful person. He was a turdy. But then in this one. He comes along, he helps to save Hawkins because he found Hawkins. If he hadn't found Hawkins, Hawkins might have died. And he and Allison make up, he kind of realizes I was an asshole, so, and they're good again. And they go off, and I thought that he was actually pretty good too in his acting. I thought he did a good job. Yeah. Especially at the end, oh my gosh, the scene with Michael. Oh, he did really good in that. Like, he looked like it was freaking real. What was happening? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like in the 2018, you only get like a few moments with him, like when they're in the cafe, like when they're that dining place where Laurie has her mental breakdown.
The restaurant, yeah,
he sees all that, and then the whole thing at the party where he's cosplaying as Bonnie, and
she's cosplaying as Clyde.
Yeah. The thing with 2018, so it was. I felt like it was done pretty well. Even like when some of the killing stuff happened, 2018 wasn't like to the extent like what we got in Kills, where Kills
overdid it.
Oh yeah, overdid it too much.
And the characters, the way they died, like okay, so Big John and Little John, that was okay. Like their deaths were gruesome. The whole thing with the fingers in the eyeballs, I thought that was okay, over the top. Over the top. But they didn't die stupid. Okay, they weren't stupid how they died. Like they were trying to find Michael, and they're going looking, and then he catches him and kills him. But the very first kill with the firefighters.
You mean multiple very first kills?
The very first kills with the firefighters was absolutely awful. When I first saw that, and he comes out of the house, and the dude revs up the chains, the saw. Michael doesn't go after the saw guy first. And I thought maybe he only killed one or two people before the saw person came after him. No, he killed like 4 or 5. And then the guy comes after him with the saw, and Michael's able to take it. Like I counted at least 8 firefighters when I was rewatching it again before we went today, the night before last. I paused it and I counted, and I could see 8 firefighters at least. Michael has never killed that many people en masse, and that's not the first time in this movie he did it. It was completely out of the norm for him. And it just did not fit the whole mythos of Michael Myers. It just was ridiculous. Like it's like all these people, they just stood by and waited for their turn to be killed. It was so terrible the way it was done. I could overlook that part initially, but it happened again, and it was just, and the people in the car, they were so inept when he killed all the people in the car. It was
well, one of the people in the car killed themselves. He had nothing to do with one of the deaths.
And that was a funny scene.
Yeah.
That was actually funny.
Technically, he helped kill that person.
She didn't do it on person. He kicked the door.
She kicked the door.
Yeah. It was funny. People actually laughed because it was hilarious. And
and the guy with the saw kind of killed himself too.
Well, Michael grabbed the saw and just shoved it into him.
Right. But if he would have dropped and ran.
But see, that's the way I think that scene should have played out. I think he should have interacted with the Saw person first, and maybe one other person, let's say, maybe. But for him to just kill, and then the rest of them should have just run away. That would have been so much more believable than what he did in this movie. And that also some editing issues, like Derek had pointed out. The girl gets out of the car, the doctor lady. She gets out of the car. Michael's like right there on top of the car and everything. And then the next time we see her, after he has already killed the nurse in the car, killed the woman's husband in the car, and then the girl is approaching from many, many feet away from the car. It's like she ran and then came back again. It was just, that was not done very well, and I didn't notice that issue the first time I saw it. But boy, I did notice it today.
I didn't notice too much of editing issues, but now that you point that out.
Yeah, I looked for it because Derek had specifically mentioned it. So I'm like, okay, so she's out of the car. She's right beside the car. Michael's right up there real close to her on top of the vehicle. And then he's killing. He gets down. He goes in. He kills the nurse lady. Then he kills the husband. And then here comes the wife from 20 or 30 feet away, approaching with the gun, missing every single time she shoots.
Yeah, and I'm going to say a lot of people tend to miss.
They're terrible shots.
It's almost like it's like stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
cannot
that's
hit
exactly
the
right.
target.
He did mention the gun was heavy. She was missing because the gun was heavier.
The other character I wanted to point out was Laurie's daughter.
Karen.
Like how her life in the first one was explaining how she was just living in this house that was all but booby traps, training for the day when Michael Myers will come back. That's all she knew. So she gets married. She has her daughter.
She tries to walk away from all of that.
Yeah. Then near the conclusion, you kind of see her in action with all that training from the past. Now in here, she doesn't fully get involved like her daughter does, except
a pitchfork. She uses a pitchfork.
Okay, yeah, that's about it.
That's all she does.
And she kind of lures them for the mob to gang up on Michael Myers, which was a good scene.
Yeah, it was a cool scene. It would have been perfect if that's where it ended.
Now, the quality of the films. So technically, the quality of both of them are just the same, I would say. I mean, obviously, it's hard to kind of compare the two between like the original 78 and then 2018. That's kind of hard to really compare the two.
Well, technically, the 2018 and the Kills version are superior.
Yeah,
to the
obviously,
version because things are just better now, more advanced.
On the other hand, you do get glimpses from both the original 78 and even the original Halloween 2. They use some clips from those movies, which you can tell they're more high definition quality.
Yeah, like they've been fixed up and restored. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. The one thing let's see. So what I like about Halloween 2018 was you kind of get to see Laurie kind of struggle with issues, her character. see how she was all getting all that training and setting up and preparation, and it led to a really good conclusion. Kills comes around. It's cool that we see what happens like after all that. You get flashbacks from 78, which is also
which
good.
were very good. I loved those.
I like that they took the Halloween 2 clip.
Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, Dr. Loomis. That was
so
well
cool.
done. The whole like recreation of the 78 was really good. And on top of that, they took clips from Halloween 2 where the sheriff
Just the one clip,
found his daughter. Like, I'm thinking to myself, if they had to redo it all again, at least he should keep where he sees his dead daughter, you know?
Right.
And that was also good. So yeah, there was even a clip where she took off his mask in the 78 version. I was like, okay, cool. The gore, I would say, I didn't have much issues with it in 2018 because it was pretty well balanced, but in kills it was overdone too much.
It was overtop. It was overkill. It was overkill.
Well, that's why it's called Halloween Kills.
I know, but not to make a pun, but it was too much.
Yeah,
it took me out of the moment.
By this point, it was kind of feeling like the original Halloween 2 did. You know?
Yeah, and that was tame compared to this one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would agree.
I know what you mean. Like, as far as it's a bigger, it's a second movie, it's a sequel, it's bigger. They got a bigger budget, and so they just go over the top with the violence.
You shouldn't really do that. Use the money smartly and figure out better ways to make the story. So here's the thing: the 2018 had a better story flow too. I mean, you could say I kind of had a little bit of this vibe. I will mention. You know how Force Awakens was sort of this thing where they kind of followed a bit of New Hope?
Like the same formula or same pattern?
Yeah. The 2018 version of Halloween kind of did that, but could you say maybe they kind of did a little bit of different things with it?
It felt different. It's like they took the original the concept, okay, Michael's coming home. All right, that happened in both. He's stalking and killing people. That happened in both. I mean, it happens in all the Halloweens. But they took it and they flipped it. Instead of Laurie being the prey, Michael becomes the prey. She's the hunter. He's the hunted.
Yeah.
You know, you see that flip. The thing like where she falls off the balcony in 2018, that was a mirror of what happened in 78. And then he comes and looks and she's gone. That was exactly it's like they took the original, they just tweaked it a little bit, but it worked.
Yeah.
You know, the formula worked well.
Even with kills too, there was like the moment where there was a little bit of sort of an homage to the 78 where her granddaughter falls down.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yes. And also and also where
Michael Myers was standing too, kind of the same vibe.
Coming down the steps after her. Also where he jumped on top of the car like he did in 78.
Oh, yeah.
And he smashed the window like he did in 78 with the nurse inside. He grabbed her hair again like he did in 78, like grabbed her by the face and the head or whatever.
He took more than just grabbing the hair.
Ripped off a chunk of her hair this time.
Okay, I didn't grab all of it the first time. Let me just
take it now. But I hated what was done with some of those returning characters, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for the nurse, in the original, she kind of had a little bit more with the original Halloween 2, where she explained specific plot points.
Yeah, she had a bigger part.
And then in H2O, spoiler, she gets killed in that one. Very start.
Yeah, she's been killed twice by Michael.
Sadly, she gets killed a second time. This woman cannot seem to get a break.
I know, right? But also, I mean, Tommy, they took these characters. It's like, why are you in Sheriff Brackett? It just felt like maybe they shouldn't have even been, like, especially Sheriff Brackett and the nurse. It just, the way that their characters were treated just felt pretty terrible. I like that Lindsay came back. I wasn't super thrilled with her acting.
About the sheriff coming back.
But also, I like how they took the character of Lonnie, because Lonnie's in the 78 version, which I had completely forgotten about. He's the kid who was trying to sneak into the Myers house and Dr. Loomis scared him away.
Oh,
and and then in the 2018 version, he's not there, but he's referenced. He's the father of Allison's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I like how they had this interconnection sort of going on. I like that the nurse lady and the doctor lady and her nurse husband. I like that they played a bigger part in this one. You only see them very briefly in Halloween 2018. And then they show up in this movie and they've got a bigger part. That was kind of cool. You know, they had the little kid again. He's on the TV.
Yeah, and the
They
TV.
referenced the stuff that happened in 2018. So I like that interconnectedness that made the two movies feel seamless.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things I did like a lot about it. I like the cinematography. I like the score. I liked just the way Michael, of course, moved his body. That he just very creepy.
The burnt mask. Well, yeah, even in the 2018 one too. The 2018 mask looked pretty cool, and then the burnt version.
Then it's burnt and it looks even more. And just like the way he moves, even when he's killing somebody, like when he killed the lady that got killed in the very beginning. She was apparently in 2018 as well. I had completely forgotten about her, but the way he had laid up her husband on the table and he was just like taking the knives and then he would just like look like he's studying. This is a piece of art and I got to figure out what's the next piece I need to add. Boom. But it was just disturbing.
Yeah.
You know, I liked those aspects of it. And that was brutal, but at the same time, that wasn't explicit. Yeah, he's stabbing, but you don't see blood. So that was more disturbing than the other images, than a lot of the other images of people being killed.
Yeah,
it's like the less you see, the better a lot of times.
Like with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the very first one, you didn't really need to see the blood and guts when he's like cutting one guy with the saw. You don't see none of that. You know what he's doing though. That plays with your head a little more. And
that's more psychologically terrifying than seeing explicit, you know, people with their eyes being gouged out, people like, with their neck being. It's just after a while, it just. I'm sorry. For me, it just loses its effect. It really does. And so that's why I was really disappointed. Also, the near immortality of Michael Myers in this movie was just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Would you say, compared to the acting in 18 and Kills, which you think was like the best?
The acting in 2018 was better. Yeah, because I feel like Anthony Michael Hall didn't do. I mean, upon a third watch of this, he's okay in some scenes, but in general, I don't think he did a great job, unfortunately. And there were also multiple times where I felt like Jamie Lee Curtis didn't do a good job, didn't do as good of a job in this movie as she did in 2018. And so that felt pretty disappointing. Or 78, and that was her first movie as well. So that felt pretty disappointing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, I wonder if it was because it was kind of like a rush.
I don't know.
So Halloween 2018, I would say, is probably the better film.
Yeah, for me,
Kills comes out. Here's the thing. Kills had some good elements in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The bad part is, would you say there's a lot of cons?
Oh, there's too many cons for me to enjoy it as much as 2018. I don't completely hate it, but there's just so much wrong with it that I just can't thoroughly enjoy it like I did the other two.
Yeah,
things.
like the 2018 was well balanced with the score. It's well balanced.
I loved the 2018
with the progression of the plot, and the acting was good. Kills comes out. The acting has moments, and the progression to the plot, it's odd. You have moments where Michael Myers can kill a bunch of firefighters in one scene. You have points where people will do the stupidest thing, like for example, one specific character goes in the Myers house alone. That was
pretty sure that he's there. Then the girl that doesn't run out after she's unlocked the door, she just stays there and waits for him to kill her. And then when Michael's surrounded by the mob, all of a sudden he's not this kung fu awesome fighter. He gets, brought down by the mob. It was just completely it was just unbalanced, and the characters dumb stuff. Like
lot
Lindsay,
of unbalance.
Yeah, and it's just stupid. Like the people in the car, the woman in the house, the first kill, like the second kill that was done in the house with the married couple. Some of the kills were okay because the characters were doing all right things. The gay couple in the Myers house, The Lindsay, she didn't get killed, but the way she didn't do stupid stuff. She hit him a couple times. She ran away and she hid, and she lived.
Mm-hmm.
But other people just.
Like for Halloween 2018, we had some pretty good balanced progression.
Yeah,
it was well balanced.
The progression was good. Yeah,
you had John Carpenter helping out with it, his son helping out with it. A lot of good stuff. Jamie Lee Curtis came back. This was a start of something good. Now Kills comes out. Yes, we were looking forward to see. The problem is you got. Well, basically, the director kind of broke his promise about not wanting to go too crazy. He went the crazy way, where Michael Myers can handle his own, but then at the end, he can't handle his own with a bunch of mob. The ending of the movie, I want to mention, I felt like that, to me, I want to say it was like a dream state. A bit of a nod to Paranoia Agent. Paranoia Agent, it kind of evolved around Little Slugger, which was, in the end, you find out was a made-up thing. Then the mob just sort of got into this sort of mentality. That's kind of how I viewed Halloween Kills, especially
the very ending sequence.
At the very ending, where it was that paranoia mentality. That's how I felt, and I'm hoping that it was just a dream state, because it just felt kind of odd how that concluded with, with even Laurie's daughter and Tommy,
all the other townspeople.
Like that just felt odd. Hopefully that was just a dream, but who knows?
I don't know.
Honestly, that whole execution. Like, here's when the kills really got me. Okay, liked the fact that they were beating him up. Like I was thinking to myself, about dang time.
Yeah, right.
But then he somehow gets back up and kills everybody.
Yeah, and he jumps up like nothing. Like it's like Derek's like, oh yeah, he took a little power nap and then he got back up. He was just able to kill everybody, and they were just standing there again like the firefighters. It's like you just waiting your turn to be killed. So dumb. Yeah,
so that kind of reminds me a bit of those anime shows where they kind of they don't let their full power go out until something like triggers it, sort of deal. Like their full power. Kills had the oddest ending. When it should have ended when they were beating the crap out of him.
Or it should have ended before, like when they surrounded him. Some people have compared this movie to Empire Strikes Back. They're like, oh, Michael wins, everybody dies, Empire Strikes Back. Well, but the way Empire Strikes Back was written was better.
Well, yeah, that was better.
I can't compare this. I get that people were like, well, this is a middle film of a trilogy. It's technically not a trilogy, but still, you're counting 78. This is a middle film of a trilogy. It's not going to be as satisfying. I get that. I completely get that. But it doesn't have to be a mess. And in a lot of ways, this felt like a mess.
Kill's plot is not that good. That's the thing. Like, there was too many issues.
Evil must die.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah, evil dies tonight.
2018's plot just felt more balanced with a lot of stuff. So, the final verdict. I would say Halloween 2018 is a great film. It's better. Halloween Kills is okay. It's got tons of issues. More cons than pros, I would say.
For me, yeah.
So, okay, so you would agree. Matt, how would you feel?
I like 2018 better, right? This one was okay. I'm hoping they do something in the next movie that may redeem this film.
Yeah,
like there's gonna be some big twist or something. You find out he has a twin brother.
Oh, jeez.
Or he's a top lord.
Or it was just all a terrible nightmare.
Or they give completely up and they put Alien from the Alien movies in, the Xenomorph.
Oh my
that would be awesome.
No, that would not
or
be.
Or he's the
that
Terminator.
Oh, and then he has to fight predators?
Oh my gosh. That would be terrible.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. Like, I liked some aspects to it, but... Well, yeah, with Kills. 18 is still good. I could go back and rewatch that again. Kills... I
know. This is the feeling I'm getting from a lot of people. I did too.
Like
and
I liked it. I had fun watching it. It's just... I saw the cons, and the big cons, to me, the bigger cons were probably, yeah, like with the guy going in the house by himself. That was stupid. The way that it ended, and yeah, when you point out the girl that could have just run out the door, the him killing the firefighters, and maybe a few acting moments that were like kind of sort of childish in some ways. I mean, like, that's the thing. There's some good stuff about it too.
That's what makes it feel so conflicting. So I didn't utterly hate it. I honestly didn't. Right. But I did not go in there with humongous expectations because I already knew the critics weren't crazy about it. But I was like, well, whatever. I'm just gonna, and I liked it. But then it started to sort of kind of go downhill in different ways. But as I came out of it, like I told you, I said 2018's better. I didn't hate it. There were some problems with it, but it's just frustrating because I felt like there was so much promise with this trilogy. I felt very confident in what David Gordon Green had done with 2018, and now I'm not so confident, and so I feel like I'm losing a little bit of trust in his ability, and that's disappointing.
That's Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills for you. You could find my mom at Cyns' corner. She laughs, she cries. She's afraid of Michael Myers.
I am.
Which I've already scared her twice.
Yes, you have.
I mean,
I was half expecting you to come walk in the live stream yesterday and try to scare me. And then I forgot all about it, but you were live streaming too, so.
Yeah, I mean, I could have, but
no, that's okay.
Could I play Dead by Daylight
as
a victim while play as Michael Myers? You know?
Know about that. Matt's just being very wisely silent.
I mean, surely Matt would agree with me. That's the best way to conquer her fear of Michael Myers. Either she plays as Michael Myers or she plays the victim and sees Michael Myers in the game.
I try to conquer my fear of Michael Myers by overexposing myself to him by watching the movies. It does not work. I still have nightmares about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
You always have nightmares. And you're like, yeah.
Ever since I was a kid. Yep. That's my mom and dad's fault. Consequently, it's my favorite horror movie.
He will never leave you.
I know.
Yeah.
Now listen, girls. There is one way to defend yourself from a serial killer. And that's usually having a dang gun. A gun will protect you. I mean, yeah, if it's in the wrong hands, then that's a one thing. But if you got a gun, you are going to survive. Now, technically, I don't really want to say you know who. And usually the you know who that I say may come around. And I really don't want to say it. Otherwise, it might happen. Alright, well, if he does come, I will protect you. I'll show you how it's done. Wait a minute, where are you going? But hold on, I wanted to... Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe he was just legend in the movies. I was just thinking maybe he was real. It would have been cool, though. Maybe I would see if he's really immortal or not. That's just... Oh my God! It's Michael Myers! Oh boy! Time to test this baby out. Come here, you serial killer! I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Alright. Usually in the movies, he's still alive, even after you shoot him several times. Let me just shoot him a few more times. You still alive? He's not even moving. That's not right. He usually, you shoot him multiple times, he still moves around. I'll just shoot him in the head. Gosh, that was kind of easy. I thought Michael Myers was supposed to be this ultimate killer that just can't die. Was I wrong? What is this? I wanted more of a challenge. He's not even moving anymore. I think I just killed him. Well, hey, at least he won't be bothering anybody anymore.